Hello and welcome to Sharing Jewish Wisdom.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to be here. Thank you for the invitation. It's cold outside, but it's nice and warm in here, particularly if you put the heating on.
So, this week is Shabbat Mavorachim.
It is indeed.
And they hopefully will be reading a special Haftorah.
My goodness, you're up with all the goodies. I'm impressed. Yes, it's Shabbat Mavorachim of Chodesh Kislev. We will say the appropriate blessing for the new month, which starts next week. And of course, with Kislev comes Hanukkah. And with Hanukkah comes donuts. And
Go on.
latkes.
Right, there's no sugar coating it, is there?
Believe me, I can find a sugar coating for anything, even medicine. But we get all excited. That's and of course this year it's rather unusual because the first night Hanukkah is the 25th of December.
How interesting.
Yes,
okay.
Very rare that I think that coincides. But anyway, so
we'll have to put Hanukkah on the Christmas tree.
Well, I would have thought so. I could think of nowhere better. We are joking, by the way. I don't want you to go off and do that. Well, unless you want to. Right. So, yes, let's come back to your very valid point. So it's a special Haftorah. Rosh Chodesh Kislev is Sunday and Monday. It's 2 days because the outgoing month has 30 days, which means that the last day, the 30th day of the old month, and the first day of the new month, which is Kislev, are Rosh Chodesh. If the outgoing month has only 29 days, then it's only the first day of the new month, which is Rosh Chodesh.
Right.
So you'll say to me...
That's easy for you to say.
Well, it is because I've got my teeth in. But you'll probably say to me, well, how do you know which month is when? Certain months always have 30 days. Certain months always have 29 days.
Does that have to do with a leap year?
No, I don't think it really is.
No.
And some months, some years have 29 days. So it's there. Obviously, that's why there are a lot of Jewish accountants, because it sort of all adds up. The simple thing is going to your local Jewish shop and buy a calendar, and you can find it all out. But it is important, for example, if someone has a yahrzeit to keep, that they keep it on the right day if at all possible. If in doubt, consult your local Orthodox rabbi. So, it's a special Haftorah. The Haftorah is called Mocher Chodesh, which means tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh. And it's very rare to have a special Haftorah designated as the day before something else happening. Now, you may say to me, well, wait a minute here. How can it be Mocher Chodesh if in fact the first of the month isn't until Monday? Because Sunday is the last day of the old month. But both days are kept as Rosh Chodesh, and that's where it is. So where's the source of this Mocher Chodesh Haftorah? It is, and I just happen to have the details handy, it's the first book of Samuel, Shmuel Aleph, and it is chapter 20, verses 18 to 42. So those of you who are literary pundits will doubtless be dashing to pick up your Tanakh off the shelf and check it out. That's
otherwise they could borrow one from the library.
Absolutely, yes. If you speak nicely to Mark, I'm sure he'll lend you his copy of Shmuel Aleph. And it's because in the first sentence, the first posuk of that Haftorah, the words Mocher Chodesh appear. That's how it's got its name. So let's spend a couple of minutes looking at what's in the Haftorah, and then we'll go from there. So the Haftorah deals with a rather sad little incident. Saul, or Shaul HaMelech, became the first king of Israel, anointed by Shmuel HaNovi. But he failed to comply with God's request, or direction, I should say, that all the descendants of Amalek should be wiped out. So he was a naughty boy. He knew that obviously he wouldn't be king forever, and he found this young fellow called David. David as we know, was famous for slaying Goliath or Goliath, if you prefer in English, and he had a bit of a reputation. And secretly, Shaul HaMelech anointed David to be the next king of Israel, without the permission or agreement of Samuel the prophet.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting. However, Saul and David fell out, and Saul wanted to kill David. Now, Saul had a son, Jonathan, and Jonathan and David were, shall we say, best friends, big buddies, bit like you and me, Mark. I lie. But no, very, very big friend. And in fact, in English, there is an expression when you talk about two people, oh, they're like a Jonathan and David. It means they're really, really close friends. Okay. It was coming up to Rosh Chodesh, and there was always a royal feast made at the palace on Rosh Chodesh. Incidentally, you might be interested to know that you probably knew already, but many people actually make what's called a Rosh Chodesh Suda, a special meal in honor of Rosh Chodesh, a meat meal, and they wash motzi, and of course you can then say Yalav Yova in benching, and they make Rosh Chodesh into
an event,
a mini yontef, which is what it actually is, because it's the key to the calendar. Anyway, so it's coming up to Rosh Chodesh, and of course, David, as a sort of a courtier, would be expected to attend the palace for this Suda. But he knew if he turned up, he wouldn't be leaving, except in a wooden overcoat, as they say in the best American gangster films. If you haven't watched them, try James Cagney, he's good. So David did his disappearing act. And Jonathan said, I'm going to talk to my father, the king, and I'm going to see how he feels. And we'll develop a code. I'll come out with my armor bearer and I'll shoot some arrows. And if I say the arrows have landed this side or that side, it's a code for you to come out of hiding. You can come back to the palace. If I say to the lad, the arrows are beyond you, that means you stay where you are and stay in hiding. So that was their code.
Right.
So Jonathan tried it on with his father, and his father picked up a spear and threw it at him, from which he gathered that the old man was not very happy, and he still wanted to dispose of David. So he went out, and they did the thing with the arrows. But eventually David did come out, and the two friends were reunited. And Jonathan said, look, I think you better disappear to your family and skedaddle, as they say. And that essentially is what happened in the Haftorah. But they did remain always as the most loyal and close friends. But it's because all this happened around the eve of Rosh Chodesh that it's pertinent to what we read on Shabbos, God willing, and why it's a special Haftorah. So there we are. That is the background. I thought you might ask me if it's the first time that a code is used in the Torah. I thought it was a very interesting way of doing things. And I sat and thought about that because I'm good at sitting there doing nothing. And as far as I can see, the first time a code was used was when Jacob, was going to marry Leah, but he wanted to marry Rachel. And the two of them had a sort of set of what they call simonim, special signs between the two of them. And one, now which way round was it? Rachel taught Leah the signs, so when they got married, Jacob wouldn't suspect and Leah wouldn't be put to shame. There you go. But as he said to his father-in-law, Loma Rumisoni, why have you tricked me?
Mm.
Because in the morning after, he thought, who's this?
Mm.
It's not the one I was going to get married to, but there you go. So that is the story about that. But now let's look for a minute at the message of the Haftorah, because we know the story now. We've got all that under our belts. What is the underlying message? And I would suggest that we're talking about the importance of loyalty and friendship.
Mm.
Because the two of them, Jonathan and David, were clearly very close, very good friends. And that was important to them. Important enough for Jonathan to put in hand a subterfuge to find out what his father's intention was and to look after his good friend.
Mm.
But I'm left with another question.
Right.
I'm left with this question. To whom should Jonathan have shown greater loyalty? His father, the king, or to his friend, David?
Interesting question.
It's a very interesting question. And I've had a little look round the commentaries and I couldn't really find an answer. I'm sure there is an answer, but it's something that our dear viewers may want to go away and research themselves in rabbinical literature.
That's right. Or even leave a comment under the video itself and let us know what you think.
That's a brilliant idea. Yes, we're a bit short of comments and observations of a polite nature, please. And if you'd like to offer an answer, we will be very pleased to hear it. And as a prize for the best answer, Mark and I will eat an extra donut over Hanukkah in your honor. So if you want to leave your name, details, the long card number, the expiry date, and the 3-digit code on the back of your card, we'll see what we can do to help you out. There you go. So that is the story with humor attached. If you find it humorous, if you don't, well, I'm sorry about that. And that's what's happening. So Shabbos morning, before Musaf, we bench Rosh Chodesh for Kislev. We've already, at that point, read the Haftorah. One more thing. Now, here's an interesting one that somebody mentioned to me the other day that I'd sort of forgotten about. On Rosh Chodesh, which in fact will start on Saturday night, we add Yalla V'Yovo, a special paragraph into the benching.
Mm.
Now, on a Shabbos afternoon, as the day draws to a close, we eat something called Rosh Chodesh, the third meal of the Sabbath. And we wash, make our motzi, and we have our Rosh Chodesh. Question, if we finish it after nightfall, which almost certainly we will, do we add in Yalla V'Yovo because it's Rosh Chodesh, or do we not, because in fact we had started it before then?
How interesting.
My chum in Jerusalem, whose name is Stuart, so we'll call him Stuart, mentioned the fact, and he said, what we do here is we make sure we finish Rosh Chodesh and bench before Shkia, the time when it starts to get dark.
Right.
Then there's no question mark involved. So if you happen to know Stuart, who lives in Romania, you can tell him when you see him that he got a mention in our video and that he is famous. There you go. There are different answers, but if you can make life easy for yourself, make life easier for yourself. There you go. And I think that's it. So the next one we're going to do, I think we said, is going to be the Haftorah for Shabbos Chanukah, which, as we're coming into Kislev, is not far away. But if you, dear viewers, would like to ask for something in particular, doesn't have to be a Haftorah, a Sedra, it can be anything you like, please do make your comments and observations, and we will try our very best to accommodate you. When I say accommodate, I don't have a spare bedroom, but you know what I mean. Thank you for viewing. Have a good day.
Thank you. Good. So, as Reb Shlomo says, we look forward to seeing you, hopefully during Hanukkah, and wish you all a good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for some great content.